Hi children, in today's class we shall try to learn effects of force. Right? See now. Effects of force. What are the effects of forces? What makes the force? If you apply some sort of force, what will be the action? What will be its effects? How many kinds of effects we can observe if you have some sort of force? Go for the first one. A force can cause a moving body, cause a motion in stationary body. Suppose the body is at rest, it will comes into motion if you apply force. The best example is if you kick a football, it will move. It gets, it will comes into motion. Since in order to kick before a football was at rest, even if you apply some sort of force on a toy car, it will move. Okay, this is the example. And one more, second type. A force can stop a moving object or slow down them. A force can move a body which is at rest, or second one is it can stop a moving one. If you apply some sort of brake in the vehicle, it gets stopped. And similarly, you can catch a ball which is coming from high towards us, right? So if you catch the ball, it gets slowed down or it gets stopped. So moving object can be slowed down, or an object which is at rest can be moved. We can do both the things. And still one more is a force can make a moving object move faster. Suppose a car is moving with 30 km per hour. If you apply some sort of force on accelerator, they generally in common language, generally we have to say it as, in physics language we should say as accelerator. If you apply some sort of force on accelerator, so that it will move still faster. Okay, so that is one more case. And next one, a force can change the direction of moving object. We are while driving, we will put some sort of force on steering. If you apply some sort of force on steering, the direction of the car or direction of bus will be changed. That is also one kind of force. Right? Next one, effects of force is a force can change the shape of an object. We can curl a paper. You can fold a paper. Okay, crush so that it will be the shape of the paper gets changed. Even the sponge, whatsoever, an object can be altered. Okay, the shape, we can change the shape of an object. Next thing is forces in nature. How many kinds of forces are there in nature? We will see. Actually, if you go into higher classes, the forces in nature gets splits and it will come to a limited one. So now we are going to learn in broad. Okay. So anyhow, no problem. We shall see now. Biological force or muscular force. The force produced by our muscles with the help of our muscles in order to lift something. Okay. So the living beings use some sort of muscles to produce force is called muscular force, that is also called as biological force. When we lift, push, pull, stretch or compress, we use our muscles force. For example, lifting of heavy weights, pulling of wheel cart, pushing a land roller, stretching of chest expander, likewise. Compressing a bale of cotton, we are going to apply large force, etc. involves muscular force. However, if the force required is too large that a person cannot handle, up to 50 kgs, 100 kgs we can handle. If you want to handle 200, 300 kgs, we cannot lift it. We will take the help of some animals, where if the person is incapable, we will use muscular force of animals. For example, bullocks are used to plough fields, and horses are used for moving carriages. Even bullocks also be used pulling a wheel cart. So these are all the examples of this muscular force. Next one is mechanical force. The force exerted by the machines is called mechanical force. No machine produces a force on its own. Okay, fan, till there is a fan on the top of inside the house, on ceiling there will be the fan, itself doesn't rotate, right? Rotation of fan is a mechanical force. The fan itself doesn't rotate. We have to apply, we have to switch on that. So if you switch on, what happens? Electrical force get be generated, and the electrical force will give the force to fan. That force getting converted into mechanical force. So there is some external energy is required. See now, in order to produce force, we must apply it with some kind of energy. That is the thing what I told now. The force used to run a motor, car engine is produced by energy of coal. Previously they used to use coal, now we use petrol, diesel instead of coal. The wind turbines uses the energy of wind to produce force, which is used for grinding wheat. Okay, the energy of flowing water is used to produce necessary force, which runs generator to produce electric current. Likewise, we require one kind of force in order to do something. The force used to run a motor car engine is produced by using the energy of coal. Not now, we are not going to use coal, we are going to use some petrol, diesel, etc. Next one, second one is gravitational force. So the pull exerted by the earth on the object is called gravity, or which is also called as gravitational force. So it is nothing but weight. The force or pull which an object is attracted towards the earth. With how much amount of force it is going to be attracted, that itself gives us weight. Whenever an object is dropped, it always falls towards the ground, right? It won't move up. For example, ripe fruits on the tree fall towards the ground. A stone on the hilltop of the hill fall downward if pushed. Why can't these substances rise up? Why can't they go up instead of falling down? It is because the earth pulls all the objects towards the center, towards itself. Even when we throw the object vertically upward, the force of gravity of the earth at once starts acting on it. See, when we throw a body object upward towards sky, there will be the force of gravity on that particle which that have been that we thrown, right? What happens there? Firstly, it slows down the object. The gravitational pull, the body which we have thrown, it is moving towards up, right? This gravitational pull make this object first to slow down. Okay, after that what happens? Then it stops it. After moving to some certain height, the body will stop there. After that, finally it will pull towards itself. Three things happening in case of gravitational force. When we throw an object towards the sky, at first this gravitational pull will try to pull it. What does it do? It will slow down the object which is moving up. The second step is it will make the object to stop anywhere. What is the third condition? Third one, it will try to pull towards itself. These three things will happen if you throw any object in the sky. Okay, so that is the thing. The force or pull which an object is attracted towards the earth is called weight. If we take one more example. If you hold a stone in your hand, suppose I am holding the pen in my hand. Instead of stone, you think this pen, okay? In my hand, you will feel as if some force is pulling your hand. If you keep the pen in our hand, to some extent we can keep 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. After some time, it feels heavier. Why? The pen in our hand feels heavier. If you take heavy object, it feels much heavier. Why? What is the reason? The earth will pull this object towards itself. See here. In order to stop your hand moving down, after some time, if you keep like that, our hand without unintentionally, it will try to move down. Okay, without knowing us, because the muscles of your hand apply an equal force in upward direction, right? And the muscles will try to hold the pen in upward direction, but the gravitational pull is in downward direction. If the muscular force gets decreased when compared to the gravitational pull, the pen gets fall down, or we cannot hold this pen. If the weight on this hand becomes gradually increased, the muscular force decreases, because we cannot hold the heavy weight for longer time. So that the gravitational pull will be in both the situation, in lighter weight body and heavier weight also. We can hold 100, 200 gram, 300 up to 500 grams in the hand for about 10 minutes or 15 minutes. If you hold 5 kgs in a single hand, you cannot withstand for 1 hour or 10 minutes for longer time, because weight is more. What happens? Our muscular force cannot withstand, right? So the unit of force is Newton. We all know that. Let us try to learn. He is the god of physics, right? We can say there are a lot of many number of gods like Durga Devi, Saraswati in our Hinduism, in our epics. Like that, in our physics also we are having several gods, because they have invented huge things, okay, in their observation. So let us try to learn something regarding few things regarding this, our one of the god, that is Sir Isaac Newton. His period was around 1643 to 1727, his life period, and he formulated the laws of motion. We are going to learn in the coming classes, future. So laws of motion. So he himself formulated those laws by the observation of nature. Okay, I think already how a scientist work we have learned in the first chapter of the physics. So he has done everything. Discovered the laws of universal gravitation. He has in the gravitation itself we will learn that concept. Explain how prism splits into colors. A prism gets splits into 7 colors: Vibgyor, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. That is the color of rainbow. Okay, that statement is also given by this great person. And built first reflecting telescope. Okay, first reflecting telescope was built by Sir Isaac Newton. And studied the nature of light and optics. Here I have mentioned only few. He has done a great job regarding physics. Okay, we all should thank him, right, for giving us such an enormous knowledge, right? Okay, we will study something. Next we go for one of the activity 1, to show that weight of a body is a force. I already told you weight is one of the force. How we can know this? From this activity we can understand how the weight of body is equal to force. Pull the rubber strip downward. So we have attached the rubber strip. So if you pull it downward to the table, the rubber strip, it gets stretched. Suspend a heavy stone from the rubber. If you just suspend the heavy stone here, what happens? The heavy stone, what causes this strength? The weight. So the heavy stone makes this rubber strip stretched. This itself we call it as weight. Okay, weight of the stone. Weight is also one of the type of force. That's why we write F is equals to mg. Mg is nothing but weight, mass into acceleration due to gravity. Mass with acceleration due to gravity is called weight. In our further classes we will learn this formula, right? We take one more example to prove that electricity is also one kind of force. We are doing this. Tear the papers into small pieces, right? After that you try to comb dry hair with the plastic comb. Try to get that combed hair, comb, the comb which has passed through your hairs for several times. You try to keep it near these pieces of paper. They will try to attract, bits of paper will attract. So from this we can conclude that electric force is another kind of force which can pull or push the object. This is also one of the force. What happens when you comb a dry hair? The charges are going to be sent from hair to your comb. Those charges will try to attract these small pieces of papers. how they are going to be attracted, what happens there, that everything we learn in our future electricity concepts. Okay, right. Next we go for one more activity to prove that the magnet exert a magnetic force. So for this what we are going to do, we are just take few small pins and make a bar magnet near it, so it will try to attract. So they have been attracted. So without touching the nails, their nails itself they are attracting towards the magnet. That itself indicates that magnetic force is also one of the force. So the force by which the magnet attracts or repels, in some situation magnet get repelled. In the sense, when we bring this south pole this of the magnet near the north pole, so it will try to repel. Okay, it will try to attract. And the same north pole if you bring here like this, same kind of poles, it will try to attract. It will try to repel. One thing, like poles will repel each other, unlike poles will attract each other. So this is north pole and this is also north pole. If you bring together, they will move far away because like poles. If you bring one is north pole and one more is south pole, and if you bring towards near to one another, they will try to attract. Okay, so like poles repel each other in case of magnetism, and unlike poles will attract. Unlike means dissimilar poles. North south is unlike. Like means north north or south south. So that is the thing. Next one, to prove that magnetic force can easily pass through substances like glass and wood. For that what we have taken, a small toy car made of iron is placed on the glass table. Below that we are going to use some magnet. Okay, so with the help of this magnet, this car above is moving, is in motion. That itself indicates that this magnetic force will pass through wood in the same through glass. Same thing happening in case of wood also. A magnet exerts a magnetic force on the objects made of iron. The magnetic force can easily pass through wood or glass. Okay, so this is one of the activity. From this we have completed this particular class and we shall meet in the next class. Bye children. Try to learn the concepts, each and everything, and you try to learn the concepts, twice, thrice, so that you will get the concept. Okay, listen carefully. Right.